Hey YouTube, this is Comic Hero 77, and we're back with another video of my comic book collection, and still working in chronological order, and we're going to start here with Conan the Barbarian number 25. This is a great comic book, this specific issue. If you're into key books or significant issues, I think this is one of them. This is done by the great John Buscema, who's been a staple comic book artist for Marvel. Just the man. This is the first issue where he starts his long time run on Conan the Barbarian. I mean, he does the series, Conan the Barbarian series, for a long time. He does the Savage Sword of Conan. I mean, he pretty much does Conan for the next like 35 years. Which is amazing in its own right. Issue 1 through 24 was actually done by Barry Windsor Smith, who's a great artist in his own right. And then in issue 25, Buscema actually takes over. So this is the first issue where he just starts his whole run on Conan the Barbarian. So if you're into significant books, which I believe this is one of them, or key books, you should pick this up. This is This is about about a very fine, solid. This is a sharp book. There's a little crease in the corner, but that's pretty much it. Love this comic. Love John Buscema. This is Creatures on the Loose, number 32, featuring Man-Wolf. This is actually, I'm going to say, if I have a book that's done by John Romita Sr., you're going to hear me say this all the time. This is done by the great John Romita Sr. This is a cover he did. He's amazing. I love the whole Man-Wolf, Killraven the Hunter. Yeah, great book. Now we're starting off in my very, very proud collection of Daredevil. This is, I used to own number 1. A CGC 6.5, and I had to sell it a few years back to pay some bills, which was much needed, and I have no regret. Would I love to have it right now? Yes, I would, but I'll pick it up again eventually. This is number 2, which is the second appearance of Electro, and this is pretty much still his yellow and black, or yellow and his red costume. And the art is done by the great Joe Orlando, is a great artist in his own right. He's done a lot of work for DC and Marvel. So if you haven't ever heard of him before, Joe Orlando, check him out. This is issue number 3, which is the first appearance of the Owl, which is a long-time nemesis of Daredevil. Great book, still the yellow and black costume. Running over the trap door. Owl was just a pain in his, just a thorn in his butt, Daredevil's butt for years. It's about a VG plus, definitely solid book. This is issue number 4. Daredevil 4 is actually a hot book right now. It's the first appearance of Killraven the Purple Man, and he's the main villain on the new Jessica Jones series on Netflix. Yeah, and his power is if you make contact or you hear his voice, he pretty much can control you, do whatever he says. So yeah, this is number 4, and if you haven't, this is getting to be a really hot book. So if you haven't picked this up and you're a big Daredevil fan, this is a book to have. It's about a VG. Yeah, VG solid. This is issue number 5, first appearance of the Matador. It's also a VG, pretty solid. Looks better, presents better. If it's depending on who's grading him, on a good day it might be a VG plus, but it's a solid VG. This is the first time Wally Wood takes over the art and cover art for Daredevil. He's amazing Wally Wood, should check his work out. Really good lines and art. I mean, he's known for his short run on Daredevil. Um, so yeah, great comic. This is issue number 6. This is about a VF minus or VF solid. I'm a little conservative, so I always lean to VF minus. But this is a sharp book. This is the first appearance of the Fellowship of Fear. I believe it's the first appearance of Mr. Fear, but it's not the first appearance of the Ox and the Eel. They had first appearances in different titles. Gorgeous art by Wally Wood. Awesome. This is what Wally Wood's really much responsible for. This is issue number 7, the first appearance of Daredevil's red costume. Pretty much changes the yellow and black to all red, and it's been that way ever since. And if you're into key books, this is definitely a book you should get. First appearance of the red costume for Daredevil. Yeah, and can't go wrong with him fighting Submariner. So yeah, great book. This is Daredevil number 8, which is the first appearance of Stilt-Man. Daredevil is known, especially earlier in his single-digit issues, to having cheesy villains, and Stilt-Man was one of those. I think he's cool, but as you see the Wally Wood art, the perspective is just amazing. Where Daredevil is close to you, and the perspective of Stilt-Man is high in the sky, and he's standing over Daredevil. It's pretty awesome. This is about a fine plus, really solid issue. This and number 10, actually, I got a great deal out of convention. Guy eventually, he first wanted like 100 for both of these. And I didn't say one word. I think my facial expression was like, yeah, that's a little too steep. Then they went down to 75. Then they went down to 50, and then I just couldn't say no after that. So I got these 25 each. Number 9 is a Wally Wood, and number 10 is also a Wally Wood art and cover. Number 9 is about a VF solid or VF minus. Number 10 is about a fine, very fine. Could be pushing a, VF minus depending on who's grading on our day, but it's a solid, fine, very fine. I'm happy to have it. This is the first appearance of the Organizer. And then in issue 11, which is the last issue Wally Wood does for Daredevil, is number 11 here, where you find out who the Organizer is. Very cool cover here. Yeah, Wally Wood's great. Then in issue 12, John Romita Sr. takes over. Now, I have pretty much issued Daredevil 2 straight through 20, and I have a lot in the 20s and 30s. But a lot of those books from 12 to 20 are graded. So I'm going to just show you the raw copies now, and I'll give a video just dedicated to my CGC collection. But this is issue number, we're going to stay with the raw copies in issue number 13. This is the Daredevil number 13. This is underrated book here. This is the first appearance of Vibranium. Now, Animentium has its own appearance, and it's a decently, it can be expensive. It's Avengers number 66. But this is the first appearance of Vibranium. And this is like I think an underrated book in its own. It's the medal that is on Black Panther's suit, and where Wakanda has an abundance of that metal. Yeah, that's where it comes from. But this is the first appearance of it. And it's also the origin story of Kazar, depends who's pronouncing it. But yeah, this is great. This is about a fine, very fine, maybe even a very fine minus, but solid book. This is number 14. I love this issue. Love this issue because it's signed by John Romita Sr. and that it's a great cover as well. Great story behind this. When he signed this, his son was with him drawing, and he said that he leaned over to his father and he said, I remember you having trouble with this cover. And his father, Romita Sr., just said, you remember that? I totally did have trouble with this cover. And just to share that story with them and me standing there listening to them talk about this cover was amazing. But he had a lot of trouble, he said, about this cover. And I was super stoked to be there and, to see that this cover came out so great, so amazing. And he signed it. Can't go wrong with that. This is issue number 14, which is a VF minus. Solid book. 2 copies of that. This is number 15 with the Ox. Another Romita Sr. He did the cover and the art. His first appearance is Amazing Spider-Man number 10, which my wife bought for me for Christmas, which is awesome. This is another hot book right now. The Gladiator. This is the first appearance of the Gladiator. He's going to be making an appearance on Daredevil season 2. He already in costume. He's already made an appearance out of costume in Daredevil season 1 of the Netflix show. He actually makes Daredevil's costume, Matt Murdock's costume, Daredevil costume for him. So yeah, if you could pick this up, this is a really hot book. This is about a VF plus, solid book. And this is issue 20. This is a John Romita cover, but the interior was done by Gene Colan, who starts his run here, and he does it for I think the next 10 years, 15 years or something like that, but he does it for a long time. It might be 10 years, but he does Daredevil, a long run on Daredevil for a long time, Gene Colan. So yeah, this is amazing. So we're going to end right here with issue 20. John Romita cover, Gene Colan art. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Love some positive feedback, some comments, some likes. This is a great collection that I love, the Daredevil. I have more. Give a part 2 of that. So thanks, YouTube. This is a Comic Book Hero 77 signing out.